Hey guys, in this drawing tutorial I'm going to show you how to draw the very adorable and famous Pokemon Pikachu. The first thing you'll want to do is just start out with the circle for his head and start mapping out where the features of the face will be. Now his head is just like two circles. His cheeks stick out a little further than his head. And then his eyeballs are sort of small for an anime character. Normally, there's one eyeball space between two eyes. For Pikachu, it's more like two. So keep that in mind. His eyes are pretty far apart, and his nose is just a teeny tiny little triangle. Now his mouth, we'll just use that top circle as a guideline to put the top of his lips. And then he's just happy, smiling. His tongue tucks underneath his top lip. Now for Pikachu's ears, they are about the same length as his head, so keep that in mind. We'll draw an arc to determine where the ends of his ears will go. You don't want to make his ears too long or too short and fat. Now his ears have black tips on the end and they curve in a diagonal shape. Now Pikachu's body is just barely longer than his head, but since I'm going to have him sitting down, his body will be about the same length of his head, but it'll be squashing at the bottom where his weight is. So his little chubby butt's sticking out, and his feet will go on the both ends of his bottom. His feet will just be sticking out there. And we'll have one hand touching the ground for support of his weight, and the other hand will be waving at us just to add some interest to the pose, because he is a very friendly and not shy character. Well, shy people are friendly. What I mean is he's very he's just full of spark. And his hands actually have 5 fingers. They're very tiny. I never really noticed Pikachu had fingers until I started studying the illustrations of Pikachu for the sake of this video. And he also has 3 little toes. The middle toe's the longest, typically. Pikachu would just be any rodent without his cheeks. Those red circles, which I guess are where he stores his electrical energy. His electrical pouches are actually twice as big as his eyeballs, so keep that in mind when you're drawing his red cheeks. Now for Pikachu's chin, we'll just mark where the shadow will be to suggest the three-dimensionality of the character. So we're just roughing in where I'm gonna color the shadows. But before we go any further, I should probably draw the other most iconic feature of Pikachu other than his cheeks, which would of course be his tail. Now his tail is shaped like a cartoony lightning strike. It's made up of zigzags. And as you saw, I'm lining up the end of his tail with the arc that follows through the curve of his ears to give some depiction of motion, since it is just a sitting pose. I've taken for granted how well designed a character Pikachu really is, but now that I'm learning how to draw him, I have a deeper appreciation for this Pokemon. The rest of the video will be a time-lapse drawing with my Copic markers, finishing up this Pikachu illustration. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know who you'd like me to draw next in the comments below.